In this video, I will talk about model view controller frameworks and introduce Java Server faces. But first, some quick revision. I can create a JSP web application in a Model 1 architecture or a Model 2 architecture. A JSP Model 1 architecture puts the JSP page in charge. Java Beans integration can be used to separate the Java code from the HTML. In contrast, a JSP Model 2 architecture puts a servlet in charge. The servlet does its processing and then eventually passes control to a JSP view to render the HTML result. This architecture can be extended in what is referred to as a model view controller architecture by separating the application model from the servlet into its own Java classes. So for MVC, the model is Java classes, the view is a JSP page, and the controller is a servlet. When you build large applications in these architectures, you'll find that lots of code gets copied again and again, over and over again, within the same project and also across multiple projects. These are things like retrieving parameters from HTML forms, mapping from HTML form names into properties of Java Beans, keeping track of the session, validating forms, managing navigation and page flow between views, mapping page requests onto particular actions, and also authentication. So given that these tasks occur in virtually every serious application that gets built, a good programmer would probably ask, why should I have to keep reinventing the wheel? And this question is exactly what has inspired the development of MVC frameworks. A framework provides structure for software development projects. Frameworks provide common plumbing or boilerplate tasks. So an MVC framework is a framework for the popular model view controller architecture. An MVC framework is a framework for creating web applications, and that helps avoid unnecessary repetition in your code and across projects. Now, developers love to build frameworks, and there are lots to choose from. Spring is probably the most popular at the moment for Java. However, Java Server Faces, Struts, and Play are also quite popular. And this is not an exhaustive list. There are plenty of others, including Grails, Google Web Toolkit, and Varden. I'm going to focus on Java Server Faces because this is the framework recommended by the Java Enterprise Edition 7 specifications. However, once you've learned one framework, you'll find it very easy to transfer your knowledge to another framework. In fact, most MVC frameworks share similar concepts. So even if you learn a Java MVC framework, you'll be able to transfer most of those concepts to web development in other platforms, including .NET, Ruby, PHP, and Python. Okay, so Java Server Faces is an MVC framework. But what is Java Server Faces? Well, Java Server Faces, or JSF, or even just Faces, is an MVC framework that provides solutions to these common problems faced by web developers. It provides a servlet that does all the hard work of handling and decoding incoming requests. It introduces a new view technology called facelets that replaces JSP. Facelets is an XML or XHTML based file format that ensures that generated HTML is always valid. It is a component-based framework, and it comes with many ready-to-use user interface components that you can use in your facelets views. And it also provides a number of behind-the-scenes features. It has automatic binding, which links your user interface components to values in your own Java code. It's got a page navigation system, which helps manage the connections between pages and when actions are performed. It's got automatic built-in validation, which ensures that your user input's valid and in the correct format for processing. It's got internationalization support that makes it easy to create websites in multiple languages. You'll find these useful tools for managing complexity when building large-scale web applications.